video is about writing an equation in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b form. This is helpful when graphing without a table using the slope, m, and the y-intercept, the number that would be located here. So our goal is to get the y term by itself. So I find it helpful to remind myself of that goal. I like to highlight the y term. So I need to remove this 6. So I need to put a negative 6 on the left side because these are like terms. They'll combine and make 0 on the left. Then on the right side of the equal, I need to also put a negative 6. Then when you bring this down, you cannot subtract or add these. These are not like terms. Now when I bring these terms down, I like to put the x term first. It doesn't matter, but I prefer the x term first. Then the very last step, when this highlighted term is all by itself, that is when you are allowed to divide by the number in front of the variable. So we're going to divide by a negative 3. Because negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1 y. And we don't need to put a 1 coefficient in front of the variable. Now whatever I do on one side, I have to divide the entire side by negative 3. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. And then I'm going to bring down the x. Negative 6 divided by negative 3 is positive 2. So I have successfully written this equation in slope-intercept form. Let's go ahead and take a look at another example. Okay, so we want the y term by itself, so I'm going to highlight it. And I need to get rid of the negative 2x, so I'm going to add into the problem a positive 2x on the left side. Now whatever I do on one side, I need to do on the other side. That makes 0. And then here, my goal again is y equals mx plus b. So I prefer, since I can't combine these are not like terms, I prefer to put the x term first. So I'm going to put the positive 2x first, and then the negative 12 second. Then the very last step to get rid of the number in front of the variable, the coefficient of the y, we're going to divide everything by negative 6. So a positive divided by a negative is a negative. 6 can't go into 2. So we're going to simplify this as 1/3 x. So negative 1/3 x. And then a negative 12 divided by a negative is a positive, and 6 goes into 12 2 times. So now we have rewritten our equation into slope-intercept form. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at another one. So our goal is to get the y term by itself. So if I have an x, I need to put a negative x. I need to combine it with a negative x, so these two will cancel and make 0. And whatever I do to the left side, I must do to the right side. So that makes 0. And again, I prefer to put the x term first. So I'm going to bring down the negative x and then the positive 4. And again, we cannot combine these. They are not like terms. One has an x, one doesn't. Then we're going to divide everything by 2, because once this term is by itself, to get rid of the coefficient in front of the y, we need to divide because 2 divided by 2 is 1y. We want y left by itself. Whatever we do to the left side, we have to do to the right side. So we have a negative x, so in front of the x there's that 1. So a negative divided by a positive is a negative. And 2 can't go into 1, so we're going to leave it as 1/2 x. And then a positive 4 divided by a positive 2 is positive 2. So now we have written the equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, let's take a look at one last example here. So again, our goal is slope-intercept form. So we want this y here to be by itself. So to get rid of the 2x, we're going to subtract 2x. Bring down the 3y. I'm going to put the x term first, and then the negative 6 after. And then the very last step to get the number in front of the y to disappear, we need to divide by 3 because 3 divided by 3 is 1y. And then we're going to divide everything on this side by 3. So a negative divided by a positive is a positive. 3 can't go into 2, and 2/3 is already simplified. Nothing can divide into both of them, so we leave it as negative 2/3 x. Then negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So now we have written our equation in slope-intercept form. And just as a quick reminder, the whole purpose of even doing this is so that we can easily identify the slope and where the line crosses the y-axis, the y-intercept. So once your equation is written in slope-intercept form, then we can quickly graph it. So we are going to start at the y-intercept at negative 2. So I'm going to go to the y-axis, I'm going to go to negative 2, and then we're going to take the slope, which is negative 2/3, and since the slope is negative, we're going to go down and always to the right, because this is always going to be positive because the negative will go with the numerator value. So we're going to always go to the right because this is positive, and on the right side of the graph are all the positive numbers. So we're going to go down 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. That is the same thing if we want some more solutions on the left side as going the opposite. Up 2, left 3. Up 2, left 3. Okay, and then we can connect our solutions to make our line. And that was the purpose of writing our equation in slope-intercept form, so we don't have to use a table.